barricades whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood, blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall, one wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
Hello, hello. How is everyone on this fine Sunday evening? Welcome on in to the den, one and all. I am going to attempt to get rid of this thing here. I don't know why it decided to do that. There we go. There we are. That's better. So, can you hear me out there in YouTube land? If you can, throw a one in the chat. Oh, sorry, guys. So it has been a busy day. I'm sure everyone else is out there. We were busy too, doing some Christmas shopping and that kind of thing. You know, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Anyway, all right, cool deal. Everyone can hear me. Good, good. I got a big enough mouth, so So we have a good show lined up for you tonight. Tonight is Lee's night off. Of course, you usually take Sunday off to relax and recharge and get ready for the week ahead. So instead, you have me and my partner in true crime tonight. Our he does so many things. He's our law enforcement guru. He does some production stuff. He does some behind the scenes admin. I mean, so yeah, so he is going to be with us, of course. Um, so I'll bring him up in a moment. I'm just going to say howdy to some folks. We got lots of the regulars here in the house. Of course, we got our amazing mods. We have Amanda B. We have Essie May. We have Pennywise. We have also here in the house tonight. We have T Coon. And here's my new favorite username. Chippy 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 chippy, because it's just JP, but it's so much more fun to go chippy 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 chippy. So anyhow, so it is, of course, wonderful to have Teresa with us. We have Mittens for Kittens. Looks like we have Heidi. We have Caden Christian. Looks like Tomboy Charm. We've got Dinah Sights. Let's see. Who else do we have? Oh, Crime and Chaos is here. Good to see you. Beauty for Ashes. Oh, I'm so glad to see you guys tonight. It's always wonderful seeing the our regular peeps. But if you're new here, welcome on into the den. It's wonderful to have you with us tonight, talking some Idaho 4. 1-1, he put together a whole thing presentation for you this evening, and put to my graphics and so forth. So we're gonna see if it'll all work. That would be handy, huh? So okay, now that we looks Silence Unchained, good to see you. Good to see you. So let me go ahead and add 1-1 to the stage here. There we go. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good evening, Dan. Hi, Robin. How is everyone doing on this fabulous Sunday evening, right before the holidays and the new year? I was out
Right.
as usual on the weekend. My day never ends. Goes and goes and
Yep.
goes, and then I get the marching orders.
Yeah.
I get the marching orders from the boss man.
Yeah. Oh, well, hey, today, everyone, please wish 1-1 and his wife a happy anniversary. Today is their 12th wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to you and your lovely bride.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Technically December 18th, but we celebrated it today. It's a little hard during the week with work and everything, but yeah, it's been 12 years. Still going
That's
strong.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. Many more years of happiness.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So all right. So we gotta do our introductions. Is it good to be live in the den on a Sunday night? I hear the screaming. We'll have to have a button for screaming.
Oh man, we got to do that. We got to get some sound effects going here, man. Yeah, I don't have one.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to Devil's Advocates, a show for those who refuse to accept headlines as truth, sound bites as evidence, and silence as justice. In a world where narratives are built in minutes and judgments are passed before facts are tested, this podcast exists for one purpose: to slow things down, to ask better questions, and to challenge everything. Because every investigation has blind spots. Every official story has pressure points, and every case, no matter how open and shut it's presented, deserves scrutiny. Here we don't chase clicks, we don't worship authority, and we don't shy away from the uncomfortable. We examine timelines that don't quite line up, statements that change when no one's looking, evidence that's emphasized and evidence that's ignored. We separate fact from inference, evidence from assumption, and certainty from speculation. This is a place where doubt is not weakness, it's discipline. Where asking why is just as important as asking who, where multiple explanations can exist at the same time, and where the truth is allowed to be complicated. We don't claim to have all the answers, but we refuse to stop asking the questions. Because justice isn't served by blind belief, it's earned through examination. So whether you're a skeptic, a researcher, a juror at heart, or someone who just knows that something doesn't add up, you're in the right place. This is Devil's Advocates, where we challenge the narrative, interrogate the evidence, and speak for the questions no one else will ask. Strap in, keep an open mind, and remember, the devil is always in the details. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
And if our friend Jason from Estes Crime Maze was here, he would say, get your slippers, find a fire if you can, even if it's a little freaking plug-in heater, electric heater. Get your cocoa or your coffee, maybe put a little rum in it. Not that I'm encouraging drinking necessarily, but hey, it's a holiday, whatever, that's right. Ho, ho, ho. So anyway, that was great. I love that one. That was great. Okay. So, um, uh, just a couple of housekeeping things here before we get rocking and rolling. Please do us a favor, like the video. It's free and easy and helps us so tremendously. And as some of you know, we are working diligently to get as many documents, videos, footage as we possibly can in this case. So one thing you can do to help that doesn't cost any money is to like the video, share the video, comment on the video even after it's done for the evening, or if you're on the replay crew, you guys on the replay crew, you are phenomenal. So if you're not able to catch our lives, the replay crew is just as crucial. We love seeing all your bright shining faces. But the replay crew, you are very crucial. But if you are so inclined, if you could, I'm going to put in the chat here the link to our GoFundMe. This is only for expenses related to securing the documents from the various agencies, from MPD, from ISP, and all those other three-letter agencies out there that were fighting to get what we should be allowed to see, what we should, so, but, oh, hey, Joe, hey, Joe from State of the
Oh,
Deep.
State of Deep.
Hello,
I see
friend.
him. I see him.
Yeah, cool.
Coming up, or we
So,
don't know.
I don't know. He has the link. I do believe I last minute kind of sent the link.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I gotta plug real quick. I have to give an enormous thanks, as always, Amanda B, who is our mod. She's absolutely amazing. I talked to her a few times. I mean, she's always researching the case, and on top of researching cases and getting documents and all that,
oh
she's
my gosh,
our behind the
just
scenes
tremendous.
amazing artist and
That's
everything.
right.
And I see a few of you made some comments in the back while I was doing my my monologue there for the introduction. You see this backdrop behind me. That's all her. She made this awesome backdrop for me. So
And it is awesome. She's tremendous. What would we do without Amanda? We don't know. We don't know what we do without our Essie or without our Pennywise. We have the best team, and then there's always Cat Farm.
yes.
I mean, she does, our songs and just such a tremendous support to us with other things. So, I mean, we have a tremendous team. Cannot say enough about our team. So, yeah. But yeah, she
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park with that background. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I can't say enough. We all have our own our own specialty, or
Yep.
what we chip in to help with. And
Yep.
it's we're all here, for the cause, for the root cause of Lee's overwhelming, what his whole point of this channel is to push for the truth and maybe help make some difference in what's going on, and maybe help some people wake up, who some people needed some cold water
Yeah.
thrown at them to wake them up a bit. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
we scream and stomp our feet enough. Hopefully we can make a difference. That's the whole point of this. And
Right.
it is great to see a bunch of creators are working together for a common cause. I know I realize that, just like in every aspect of life that you deal with, not everyone is always going to get along. Not everyone's always going to agree with everything. On this channel, we we all push. Lee, Lee's the head cheese, the big boss, and he has pushed, what he has overwhelming his view. We try to work together as best we can,
Yep.
and we respect everyone's opinion. Even, if we put the link out there for you to come up on stage and talk and say your theory, or whatever, or what you feel, or you think that we're wrong on something, or we made a mistake, it's fine. Um, that's what this is all about.
Right.
Talking about theories, trying to back them up with facts, but it has to be done in a respectful manner. So
Right.
on this channel, we don't tolerate any
Mm-mm.
nonsense. I could tell you, you'll be given a quick warning. We have some of the best mods that exist. Yeah, Amanda, Essie, and any I don't know whoever else, Cat Farm,
Penny.
whoever else is in the chat.
Yeah.
We have
Penny
great
Cat
we
Farm.
have great
Yeah.
mods, and definitely, you know uh Robin. I almost Robin is also, she gave me a nice introduction there. Robin does a million things also for the channel, besides like setting up and stuff behind the scenes. That's why you see her name, behind the scenes queen. Robin is always doing stuff too. So we
Somebody in
definitely
the
won't.
chat called me that one night, and that
Yeah,
kind of, I guess it
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
is stuck.
So everything's all about showing respect, and remember,
Yep.
sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That was always a big line my mom used to tell me, God rest her soul. Uh, it's always, sometimes you could be 1,000% right in your argument or what you're saying, but
Yep.
if you argue and say it in a nasty, arrogant way, that's not going to accomplish anything. So,
No. No, and there's no need for that. So
right.
we're here to talk true crime, to get to as much as we possibly can to the bottom of these cases that Lee covers, and have a good time while we do it. So yeah. So okay. Well, I guess that's enough talking from
Yeah.
us. Well, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. So now,
Yeah.
if I can find the right thing here. So, as everyone knows, on Devil's Advocates, there's usually some type of a technical snafu. So I won't be surprised. I'm going to. We're going to see if I did it right. I got to find the right. There it is. But now, okay. Here we.
I was reading some of the comments.
Okay.
You're all
All
good
right.
though.
What? Well,
I
hang
know.
on. I have to
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
fine.
find the right tab.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking for.
Yep. No, it's my Canva. I'm trying to get into
Okay.
my right because this we're doing it live. We
We're
really
doing it
are.
live.
So
Yeah.
we're doing it live. Okay. Can everybody see that?
No, I see it. I don't think you have it on stage.
Well, that see, I took.
There you go.
Woo! All right, now
There
I'm
we
going to
go.
remove us from the stage.
I think you still got me up here.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do it that way because I'm too afraid
Okay,
that I'm
that's
going to
fine.
close myself completely out of
No,
StreamYard,
yeah.
and that
Don't do
would
that.
totally suck. Okay,
Yeah.
so you tell me when you're ready to move to the next thing, and we'll go.
Yeah. Okay, so as you see on screen, so first topic of the night: why the dark changes everything. All right. So darkness is not just an absence of light; it's a change in how the brain prioritizes information. At 3 to 4 a.m. And 2 a.m. is close enough to this as well. I'll just throw that in there. But at 3 to 4 a.m., the brain is operating in low alert mode, energy conservation mode, and pattern continuation mode. This means the mind actively works against escalation. It prefers explanations that allow sleep to continue. So, for example, that's a roommate, that's someone leaving, that noise is normal. In shared housing, especially among college students, privacy boundaries are loose, guests are common, movement is expected. The house itself becomes psychologically important. A home that has historically been safe trains the brain to expect safety. That conditioning doesn't shut off just because it's late. So, from a threat assessment standpoint, darkness removes visual confirmation and the brain fills gaps with the least alarming explanation. Ambiguity favors comfort over caution. And this basically has to do with environment, neurobiology, behavior, and false safety. So, darkness doesn't make people careless, it makes them rely more heavily on trust, habit, and routine. This is why night crimes feel so shocking afterward. We judge actions with daylight logic, not half sleep logic. So how do you feel about that?
Well,
Robin?
yeah, I mean that's absolutely right. I mean that's the time when things are supposed to be calm and quiet and so forth, but that's really not what we hear, is it?
Right. And now, how I'll as a I guess as a side note, as a devil's advocate rebuttal to that, a good counter argument. Are we over romanticizing darkness? Plenty of crimes happen in daylight with equal
Mm-hmm.
brutality. Darkness didn't
Mm-hmm.
cause vulnerability, routine did.
Nope.
The brain's
Mm-hmm.
tendency to normalize noise isn't unique to night. Would we be making the same psychological arguments if this happened at 2 p.m.? So, is darkness actually the factor or just the backdrop we project fear onto?
Well, there's a lot of people who are afraid of the dark.
Right.
So, I mean, I think darkness does add that spookier element, I guess you would say. But yeah, so that's my answer to that is that I think that the darkness does add a certain element, which is why many of your, movies and so forth, horror take place mainly at night. So,
Right. I guess you could put up
okay,
the first
next,
poll.
okay.
So, um, we wanted to ask everyone in the den. So, what do you guys think? Does the time of day change how we see this case? Yeah, type yes in the chat. Night changes everything. No, just as shocking as day, or not sure. Just curious what the chat thinks.
Yep. I'm just going to go through some comments here. So, Christine Hurd says evil hides in the darkness. Right Turn Clyde says yes, they think it does change it. No, says Panda Hug 2. We're getting a lot of yes and no's. It's kind of divided. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
see.
divided.
Some yeses, some nos. Evil happens
Big
under the
Mike,
sky. Yeah.
yep. I am leery day and night.
Evil
That's
also
right.
hides.
Evil
Yeah.
can hide
Right.
anywhere. Okay, State of the Deep. Joe says, yes, human behavior changes after dark. That is true. There is a psychological
Yep.
truth to that. JP.
I love that name.
You know, says yes, because daylight murder would be way worse. Well, it would be harder to hide in a sense because
Yeah.
so many people would be out and about. Compared
Right.
to uh so this is great. Thank you guys for commenting
Yeah.
on
We
that.
love the engagement. I'm
Yeah,
curious as to
definitely.
what
Definitely.
you guys how you guys feel.
Right. Oh,
I think.
and crime and chaos, definitely. That's right. The moon is a powerful source. Very true, because it affects the tides. It affects people's can affect their mental um state. So it really is true. So okay,
Really, I love
you want me to go
real
on?
evil. I see. Real evil doesn't need to hide. Looks just like the background.
Yep. Okay. And then Brian Todd. Okay. Okay, great. All right. Do you
All
want
right.
me to go on to the
Yeah,
next?
we can
You
go
tell
on
me
to
when you want
yeah,
me to move on.
yeah.
Okay.
We go
All
on
right.
to number 2.
Okay.
So for this, we got what police said versus what evidence shows. This has to do with public reassurance, narrative anchoring, and institutional constraints. Early police statements serve multiple audiences at once: the public, the media, the university, potential witnesses, the offender, if still at large. Phrases like targeted and no ongoing threat are not conclusions, they are risk management language. Law enforcement, you have to remember, and I can speak to this because I am law enforcement, right?
Right.
They want to prevent panic, keep daily life functioning, and reduce chaotic tip volume. But here's the problem. Once a phrase enters public space, it becomes interpretive gravity, which becomes a big problem. Everything afterward gets filtered through it. Tips get self-edited, that doesn't fit targeted. Public fear gets compartmentalized, media narrative stabilized prematurely. and investigations evolve quietly, public statements do not. So the ones, key on air attention, investigations are dynamic. Public messaging becomes frozen in time. So when details later complicate early messaging, the public often perceives inconsistency, not evolution. What do you have to say on that?
I think that can be true. I mean,
Yeah.
now certainly in this case, and many cases, of course, things that tend to change could just be that things are evolving. Things are it's a fluid situation. As far as why some things may seem inconsistent from when they first began. But then after a while, though, these inconsistencies, they become just that. But you also do have to keep evolution in mind. So it is a fine balancing act.
Right. So here's the devil's advocate rebuttal to that. Early police statements aren't narrative control, they're triage.
Hmm.
Law enforcement must speak
Like,
before all facts are known. So that is true. So a lot of stuff that comes out and we're like, oh, the police they did a press conference 3 days later. They did this, they did that. Remember that not necessarily all the facts that we have now that they had at their
right,
fingertip. So you have to remember
right.
that. The
It's just like
just
a doctor.
exactly. You got to keep in mind, we're putting more of the pieces together, and like we're watching, for instance, like the interview with Dylan and whatnot, which I definitely can tell you, um, obviously, immediately or maybe even whatever, a few days later, they didn't have all of her cell phone data, so
Right.
they can't really kind of even go at her in a way, whether they wanted to go, you know, complete, 180 degrees headstrong right at her. Like you said you were sleeping. You clearly weren't sleeping. What's this
Right.
on Snapchat? What's this on here? There's a few different techniques or ways they could go about it. But
Hmm.
again, you have to remember they didn't have this info at the time. So it's easy for us to look at it right now,
Right.
seeing like, oh, no, she's clearly lying, and at this moment. What I can tell you though, from my perspective, me being law enforcement, no, I'm not a detective, but you don't need to be a detective to figure out a 9 hour, whatever it is, 8 hour, 9 hour, 10 hour 911 call delay. There's something not
Right.
right. There's something not right. You
Right.
can't tell me, you can't sit there and tell me that you're afraid and that you ran to your other ap- you know neighbors, whatever, apartment mates, room, close the door, lock the door. You're so afraid, and again, I don't have the info at the time in front of me. I don't know what your cell phone data is. So you're telling me that you went to sleep, but it would still make no sense. So
Right. Right.
you're that afraid. You're that because again, we've covered this a few times on this channel. We've went over it, and we haven't. We try to cover different things. We don't want to always talk about the same area over and over again. But we've covered
Right.
some of
Right.
this in the past. Your body in State of the Deep. he has more extensive study in psychological behavior than I do. He'd be the first one who would could go into detail and tell you a bit even more than me. The body has a flight or fight response.
Right.
Okay. That's the whole thing when, when you hear people say, their adrenaline kicked in, like
Right.
how how is a how is a mother able to, all of a sudden somehow able to get some kind of crazy, incredible Hulk strength and like lift a car tire and save her, save her son or save, stuff like that.
Right.
That's all fight or flight response. And you
Right.
don't you don't sit there and think about it. It's not,
And,
it's not see, this is the whole point of my understanding. I did, there's a whole big, science behind it and your neurons and all that. But basically, in a nutshell, it's not something you sit there and like, oh, let me think about this. It's gonna
for 8
happen
hours.
instantly. What
Right.
happened?
I mean,
Uh,
I'm like, for 8 hours, I'm gonna
oh
sit here
yeah.
and ponder this instead
Oh
of getting the
yeah.
hell out of Dodge.
Right. So
I mean,
that's what I
or
want. That's what I want people to understand. And
trying to
again,
help your friend.
right. And I want to be clear, we're not, because this
No,
is very big too. We're not victim shaming. I'm not saying
no,
that I think Dylan committed the homicide or anything like that. What I'm saying is that her story makes no sense. And from
no.
my experience, my 22 years of experience with NYPD, with law enforcement, and responding to all these different scenes, absolutely, you may get, you know, you could say no two people are gonna, act or respond exactly the same, because and to your credit, that would be an accurate statement because we all come from different experiences, right? We all come
Right.
from we all have different experiences and have responded to different stimuli throughout our life. My my like what I've experienced, me seeing a car accident happen and I see people get hurt or kids get
Hmm.
hurt or whatnot. I'm going to be able to deal with that differently than maybe one of you who, yeah, ultimately you may wind up, calling for help, calling for an ambulance, all that stuff. I hope that you would. Um, but how I see it and how I respond is going to be different. And why is it different? Because I have seen so many people, unfortunately, either take their last breath or have been severely hurt and whatnot. Um, it's not that I enjoy seeing it, but it's kind of like a
No.
numb factor. You get numb to it.
Right. You
So this is an
compartmentalize.
example. It's all right. So why am I bringing that up? Because this would be it's a perfect example. Like, let's say, I'm with Robin and we see a car accident or something happen in front of us. How I'm able to deal with that stress at the moment may be different than her. Maybe she's never
Well,
maybe she's never
uh,
actually seen something like that happen, like, right in
well, I
front of
have.
her. No, I know, I'm just saying.
No, so I'm saying, when I was 18, the day that we were going to take our driver's test, okay, S and I both, we were on our way to take our driver's test. We were coming. I live in a rural area. Coming around a curve, guy coming towards us was going hell for leather. He had fallen asleep at the wheel. He ended up flipping the car. Right, it just passed us, flipped the car over, and so we're both 18. Fortunately, of course, we had our licensed driver that was going with us that day. Uh, and got out. And now we're talking. This is back before cell phones, so we, so. But at that age, I didn't. I didn't hesitate, and I'm not saying that everybody's like that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying people from the time they're young have been told how to dial 911 in the event
Yes,
of an emergency.
right. And I
Okay,
could, yes. And you know what?
zero.
And
And
and it's
again,
big, right, right. And you know it's big.
this is common sense.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick. My son is
Yeah,
5 years old, and
there you
we've
go.
been teaching him right now if he needs help or something's wrong, or a stranger tries to get him or whatever, call 911. He knows to call 911.
Right,
So
right,
how would Dylan not call? So again,
right,
my my big thing is that fight or flight response. So
right. Okay,
that's what the body goes into. Um, and it could be a little of both. Like, if you're
sure.
gonna say, well, what if Dylan tried to run out of the house and she tried to call help? Absolutely. That you could have a little of both. Um, just to address real quick, I saw someone, where is it? I don't know, I had it highlighted up. Um, someone was asking me, oh, here it is. Put it up here again. It
Yeah,
went
put it up
down.
there
What part
again.
of law enforcement? So I work for NYPD. I work in Brooklyn, and I'm currently a lieutenant. Not wildlife, not corrections. So corrections
Sometimes
has
it probably
nothing.
feels
No,
like you're reporting
corrections has
wildlife.
nothing to do. Corrections is separate. That has nothing to do with NYPD. But
No.
that's the answer to that. And yes, I'm still active.
Yes. Yes.
Uh
Okay.
You want to put the poll up for,
Yep.
I guess, for
Yep.
number 2? So, what do you guys think? Were early police statements, after hearing, what we just said, if you try to go back and think of it from above, like, I know it's difficult because I know there's a lot of nonsense that we've been told, but I mean, from the beginning, you just try to think about the very, very beginning. Do you think police statements were responsible or misleading or both? How do you guys how does the chat feel?
Well, it looks like we have
I see.
several misleadings. We've got both misleading, both not wildlife police. Doo-doo. Misleading, lot of misleading, lot of misleading. I have not yet seen one responsible. It's either misleading or both can be true.
Yeah.
I think it's both.
Right.
I think there is
Right.
good law enforcement out there. Case in point, this gentleman
Right.
on the screen here with me. And I think there are a lot of tons of law enforcement who do a tremendous job every day. But then you hit a case like this, and you can't help but start asking questions. You can't.
Right. And I would just remind everyone, so uh it's been mentioned, if I've seen it a few times before. The initial press conference that they did, 3 days, was it 3 days after the
3 days. For 3 days, we
so
didn't hear
so
anything.
what, sometimes there are things that are put out there purposely to be misleading as well.
Right.
Um, and you may say, well, why do they do that? Um, you know, narrative control is part of it, but if they're legitimately trying to investigate the crime, they also don't want to put out there, if they have a hunch that, oh, you know, we really think we think it's Jack, we think Jack D is involved. We've been tracking his movements and some of his movements he did the day before and stuff like that. They're not gonna they're not gonna put that out there. So what I could tell you from the actual documents and the evidence from what we've seen, Dylan and Jack Showalter were not cleared right away. I know what they said. I
No,
know they said everyone was
they say
everyone.
that, but
They said
no.
everyone. I saw that. I know. I read it a few times. It said everyone was clear. They were not. And how do I know that? Because from the documents, we can see the
Right.
surveillance and the investigation and the interview. If they thought, you know, Dylan was 100% truthful or whatnot, she wouldn't have been, repeatedly interviewed. Um, what I could say with the Dylan part though, I mean that whole thing in the beginning was all messed up. So all those people on
Yeah.
scene should have been, all of them should have been separated. They should have been brought down. Hunter Johnson should have been in handcuffs, not under arrest, but he should have been put in. I mean, you're
He should
responding
have been
to
questioned.
you're responding to an unconscious job. You show up there at the house, someone in the house that's right there. It doesn't matter what he says. He's holding a knife. He should have been placed in cuffs immediately. Immediately.
Right.
It doesn't matter what he says. Should have been placed in cuffs. Then you clear the house. Obviously, there's 4 homicides, and then Hunter Johnson should have been brought back to the station house immediately. Bethany, who lives in the house, and Dylan should have been. Those 3 people should have been brought back and separated. Right to the precinct immediately. Not so they can't
Yeah.
talk about their story and whatever. And then you got other people outside too that should have been also separated. But those 3
Right.
people, they, yeah, I know they checked. They made Hunter show his hands. Let me see your hands. I mean that. I mean just you just think about this
What does
logically,
that prove? That
right?
doesn't prove anything. I mean, really.
Right. I mean,
But
just telling you from my experience, 22
right.
years. If I show up to a job, and this happens all the time, a job will come over and it winds up being something completely different than what the actual job is. So that always happens. Sometimes we wind up having a job that's just it's an aided. Someone needs medical aid, and it winds up being like some kind of domestic violence or something that happen. Like this happens
Hmm.
all the time. But to jeopardize your own safety and your partners and the other officers' safety, I mean, you're not gonna let someone who you don't know like lead you around the house with a knife. I mean, it's just ludicrous to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Okay.
okay, I guess we can go on.
Next.
The show must go on. So now we're going to discuss the psychology of the unknown. Why this case would not let go. And we certainly know there's a bunch of reasons for that, right? Uncertainty creates cognitive pressure. This case combined extreme violence, familiar surroundings, young victims, prolonged informational silence. Our brain seeks narrative closure, predictability, and meaning. When those are absent, anxiety escalates, pattern
Yep.
seeking intensifies, and speculation feels stabilizing. Social media magnified this because repetition created perceived legitimacy. Emotion traveled faster than verification. Silence from authorities felt louder than speech. People weren't just curious, they were trying to resolve fear. So, what I get from this is the public obsession wasn't about the crime, it was about regaining a sense of order. Unanswered questions feel like open threats even after any arrest. How do you how
I
do you feel
agree.
about that?
I
Yeah.
know. I mean, that's true with anything. I'm a planner in many ways. So when I don't have an answer for something, if something is unknown to me, that causes me the most stress. If I know what I could be facing, I can plan accordingly. I can take those steps and it reduces my anxiety. The people in this region at the time, uh, you know, uh, the other college students, employees, just the people in the community in general, they didn't know what was going on at the time. And then to just be suddenly told, yeah, it's a target attack. It targeted attack. It's all good. You're good. That still would not, for me, would not allay any of my fear because I didn't know who did it, why did they do it, just like those questions on the screen there.
Right.
Why that night? How many people were how were they murdered? How were they, can I even come out of my house yet? I mean, the alert didn't go out for what, like an hour
Right. Something
after
like that.
the 911 call.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that whole. So what's your rebuttal? I didn't know we were debating. You didn't tell me that.
Ah. Got gotta make it spicy. um, so law enforcement could have shut down the rumors by mainstream media, yet they didn't until after the plea. Yeah, absolutely. Two of the big things. Lee spoke on this several times. We've mentioned it on this channel. I don't know how many times I heard, Nancy Grace, uh, Banfield and Brian Etten and whoever else say that, oh, look how nuts BK is. Look, he cleaned his
Yeah,
car
he
in the
looks creepy.
garage. Um,
Yeah.
no, he didn't. He did not clean his car in the garage. You know how I know that? Because we have a
No,
document. So for those of
that's
you,
right.
I don't know if anyone new here, so I can't always assume that everyone knows every little, detail. It's not true.
No.
He did not clean his car in his
Nope.
garage. They
Nope.
tested it. There's not one thing that was testing for bleach or anything. He did not clean his car in the garage. And the other thing was that he was throwing his garbage in his neighbor's garbage. Also false. And how long did we hear that? For a year and a half?
Right.
You know?
And then we get that document and there's a napkin, there's all kinds of other, in the log that listed the items that they retrieved at his car. Well, if you clean the car, there's not going to be that kind of stuff in the car.
Right. Right. So here we go with the devil's advocate rebuttal. Obsession doesn't mean insight. That's true. I could agree with that. Public speculation didn't advance the investigation. Online theories often can harm innocent people. Curiosity can masquerade as concern, and emotional investment doesn't equal understanding. I can agree with some of that.
Mhm.
And at what point does public fascination become noise instead of vigilance? So, what do you think about that?
Say that last part. At what time?
At what point
What
does
time does?
public fascination become noise instead of vigilance?
Okay, I have a little bit of an off the wall answer, but that's just
That's
how I
okay.
roll.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fine.
believe that there is such a thing as, in certain cases, at
Right.
certain times, and depending on how you apply it, the public outcry is never just noise. People, you know, so many people somebody said it here in chat just a few seconds ago. If law enforcement had given more detail, had given correct detail, even last year sometime said, we want to go through, put a presser to get together, we want to go through and dispel some of the rumor and tell the facts, that would have
Right.
been much appreciated, and it would have gone better for them, frankly. I mean, really, they could have saved
Absolutely.
themselves a lot of,
Right.
but so to me, if it's done the right way, the proper way, there is no time when it is just all total noise. But that's just how I feel.
Yeah. Now let's see how the den feels.
See what the den says.
So what do you guys think? Did speculation help? Is it helping or does it hurt? Yeah. Help, hurt, or neutral? What do you guys think?
Says help. Um, I would have to say help. Just me personally, because sometimes, and this one
Yeah.
that in your line of work, I mean, I know you're not a detective, but come on, man, you've worked around enough detectives all your career, okay, to
I'm
know
with
that
them.
sometimes
I'm
right.
with them all the time.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You know that sometimes spitballing will help you find the one or
Yeah.
two things that could potentially find the answer to a crime, no matter what kind of crime it is, or an answer period overall. So speculation, if it's done respectfully and and responsibly, I don't think it can hurt. Depending, yep, definitely helped. We've got, seems like most people are saying either helped or made no difference. Ah, I like this answer.
They made us look into this case and know something
Education,
wasn't right.
another
Right.
thing this channel is big on. Yep,
Yes.
education.
And what I would
Uh,
and
be,
what I would say too is from watching this, from seeing what has gone on with this case, um, hopefully it has opened the eyes to some of you who are new to true crime, or you maybe are
mhm,
somewhat veterans, that sometimes there is a bigger picture going on. And
right,
shout out to our Estes crime maze and JJ from the deep. um they might not be 100% or spot on with every detail or every little thing they're saying, but one of the things that that they make a point of discussing is that what is the over, especially JJ, what is the overall, like, big thing going on in the case?
right,
Is there
right,
something with big money, some kind of thing with big money is at risk, you know, with the what would happen to the college if they lost an enormous amount of funding, if it got out that this was some kind of sexual crime, or if there was any, or that these four kids were tortured and stuff, stuff like that. Yeah, you have to think
right,
sometimes of the bigger picture. And no, we might, obviously if the trial is going on, we're not going to have all the evidence available to us, and we shouldn't. That's but we should now that the case is closed. Absolutely 100%. Um, but when we see, you see this guy O'Neill, who has a long history of being some kind of, uh, you know, uh, FBI controller, operative of informants for drug operations, and he's interviewing for college kids I mean he's interviewing, you know the interviewing about the homicides in this case. Like, why? Like, yes, it's a horrendous
Mm-hmm.
crime, 4 homicides, but what does that have to do with an FBI drug task force? And why is Homeland Security interviewing
Right.
suspects or witnesses in this case? Why,
Right.
know, the marshals, why are the marshals there? This is stuff. I mean, I can tell.
Right.
I mean, I've been on scene for numerous homicides and stuff. I haven't. I never saw Homeland Security, as far as I know. I never saw them in some in stuff that I was at. That should be a huge red flag to you. What does it
Right.
mean? Well, I don't. I can't answer that. I wish I could answer that. What I could tell you is, you know, if it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, is it a duck?
Right. Sometimes,
Right.
sometimes, Occam's razor and all that, the simplest answer is the answer, but not it doesn't seem to be in this case, that's for sure.
Right.
So, okay. Next, you want me to go on?
Next. Yeah. I don't know, if anyone wants to hop up on stage, you're sure to you can hop on. I don't know if
Let me
you wanna
stick I'll stick the
send them
link
the
out
link.
there. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
keep
if
on.
anyone
Yeah,
interested,
because
I
we've
mean,
got a few more slides yet, but I'll get the link out there in case later on somebody wants to pop up. I'll put it out later again
yeah,
too.
yeah. Okay. So now we get the last normal moment. So this involves hindsight bias, moral distortion, and survivor psychology. The last normal moment is emotionally powerful because it represents the illusion of continuity. Um, before tragedy, time flows forward. Decisions feel inconsequential. Life assumes tomorrow. After tragedy, time collapses backward. Moments get isolated. Meaning is retroactively assigned. Psychologically, this creates hindsight bias. For instance, it was obvious, or moral inflation. Someone should have known. False preventability. So some of that, I could be correlated, absolutely with Dylan. Obviously she comes to mind right away, right?
Right.
However, again, you have to look at all the details and info that may know about other cases. And again, you may have, no two people may act exactly the same or go into shock the same or respond to different stimuli. Absolutely, that's 100% true. However, many cases, it's high percentage uh people in what Dylan described, you're going to go into the fight or flight response, or kind of a combination of both. And what she says doesn't really add up. But um
Mm.
for families and loved ones, these moments become emotional anchors. Neutral actions feel charged. Memory becomes a loop. Have we heard that? Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Critical correct, so this is a would be a critical correction. Normal moments don't contain warnings. Tragedy gives them weight, not insight. This reframes blame away from victims and loved ones. That's very, very important. So what do you think about that?
Well, it is an illusion that things were
Yeah.
normal. Everything was quiet. They were
Right?
getting ready to
Yeah.
go to sleep. They had gotten some food. Xana and Ethan are, eating pizza, and that and as a writer, when you want to create that narrative, that illusion, all those kind of things, yeah, and we know that's exactly what it was. Um, and it I'm receiving word that looks like, um, apparently at the time, Homeland was partnered with MPD at that time. So that
Right.
just kind of came into me live. So
Uh-huh.
we're doing it live.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Oh, I see that. Yeah.
which I don't know how many people are aware of. I was not aware of that. So isn't that interesting? Isn't that very interesting?
Right.
So
It is. Um,
what's your rebuttal, sir?
so now our rebuttal on this, as this is the Devil's Advocate show. Not every last moment deserves analysis. Assigning meaning after the fact risks victim blaming. Normal behavior doesn't become instructive just because tragedy followed. We may be projecting significance where none existed. These
Mhm.
moments matter emotionally, but not evidentiary. Are we honoring the victims or rewriting their lives through tragedy?
Okay, let me go to
So
our next mini poll.
how does the chat feel about this? Do last normal
So
moments matter? Yes, for context, no harmful thinking, or it depends on the case. How do you guys think?
what say you, Den? Okay, yes for context. We're
I see a
getting
lot
a
of yes.
lot of the yes. Yep.
Depends on the case.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So and to counter that, when you're told that the things that were supposedly happening weren't really happening, that
Right.
changes the context dramatically.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. You want me to
All right.
go
Yep.
on?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. We love this one, right? Timeline trouble. This is what
Hmm.
we have this all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Construction, compression, and courtroom necessity. Timelines feel definitive because they're organized, not because they're complete. They are assembled from digital artifacts, accurate but narrow, forensic estimates, probabilistic. Human recollection is unstable and biased. The danger is compression. Ranges shrink, possibilities disappear, uncertainty gets polished away. In court, timelines must be linear, be understandable, support an argument. But in reality, it's messy, right? We see that in most
Hmm.
in many cases. Um, Events overlap, perceptions differ, not every moment leaves data. A timeline isn't a recording, it's a reconstruction built to be understood. That makes it useful, but not omniscient. How do you feel about that?
Well, something that jumped out at me in this bullet list here, about the surveillance footage interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, okay, this latest footage that Jules got, shout out to Jules for getting that, that footage. Shout out to her community for helping that, come, be possible. But this latest stretch that she got, that was had the audio completely redacted. What else are we supposed to do with that than interpret? It's
Right.
like, that's
Right.
one of the reasons that we're FOIAing for all of these documents and footage and everything else, because are they doing illegal redactions of whole vehicles, people? Uh, you know, we don't know. But so, and again, it goes back to a lot of credibility. If the case is open and shut, if the dude that supposedly, allegedly did it is sitting in jail now, and there's not going to be an appeal, there's not going to be anything ever, then why are they still redacting this shit?
Right. Absolutely. So
I
here's
mean, why
yeah,
don't
go
they
ahead.
clear up the timeline for us?
Yeah. Well, they don't want to.
Exactly, because they can't, because
Right.
they know they're in deep shit.
So our devil's advocate rebuttal:
Would
timelines
be,
timelines don't need perfection to be useful. Courts deal in reasonable inference, not omniscience. A timeline can be accurate, even if not exhaustive. Demanding total certainty sets an impossible standard. Jurors aren't asked to solve every mystery, only the legal question. Is our discomfort with timelines about flaws or about unanswered questions we want solved?
yeah. All right, and I will now bring up our poll, our little mini poll.
So what does it then think on this? Should timelines be judged on accuracy, completeness, or both equally?
I like this.
Had the timeline followed the evidence, the timeline may have made more sense, including potential complicity by the two girls who can only
Be named as Judas by their friends. Now,
yeah.
that again, we're not trying to blame or shame or anything, but there are accounts, I guess, that they could, and like many people can be a little duplicitous, that kind of thing. So that certainly did not help the timeline. That's for sure.
No.
So let's see. We got both accuracy first,
I see
completeness
a lot of
second.
both. Yeah.
Yep. This is a very good comment. Where'd it go? Uh, uh, oh, it went too fast. Big Mike says we have neither in this case, which is kind of true. The timeline is certainly not complete.
Oh,
Did you
what do
put
we
that up
got?
there?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll have to tell me if you do that, so I'm not fighting you for.
Sorry. Yeah. If you want to put that, I see. State of the Deep. He got a comment. I'll throw him up here. What does he say here? The only thing I'm certain of is that there was a Fed up involved. Read Dark Alliance. The feds have a history of being involved in trafficking to fund black ops.
Yep,
Yeah. Yep. I'm definitely in agreement. The
I would
more,
agree with that.
although we don't know where truth begins and where truth ends in a lot of the
Right.
stuff that we're getting. But the little that we are getting, or that we think we have, it does seem to be more and more there's something bigger going on,
Mm-hmm.
a bigger picture. So
Yeah.
I'm more and more inclined to really
Yeah.
think that JJ's on the money with this. I don't know, I know he's what he stated. Not to put words in his mouth, but he said that I think he's still under the impression that there were some homicides involved, but there very well could be some kind of witness protection or something for maybe some of the people that were involved. It's
Right.
just it,
And yeah, and I'm, said there the other night, I'm not married at this point to um any one theory. I'm able to entertain. Do I believe people died? Yes. Yes, I do. Did they all die? I'm not sure. Uh, but I do know that there's a lot of shenanigans, and so that's why we have to keep asking questions, and we shouldn't be made to feel ashamed because we're asking them. What is it you're taught in school? There is no such thing as a dumb question. So if you're going to go with that logic, okay, then there's nothing wrong with asking questions.
right.
Yeah, Kaylee's phone, they never gave that back to the parents, I don't believe. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if that was
I
destroyed.
I don't think it's missing. I don't think it was
No,
returned.
I think they still have it. They
Yeah.
have not been, that has not been returned to the family, I don't believe.
And I see this too. I see this comment. Until they show autopsy, they can't say they're dead. And I understand. I get your point, and I can see what you mean with that. In many cases, um, crime scene photos are leaked, or after if a trial is done and whatnot, you can get actual crime scene photos. And if you're caught putting them on certain things online and whatnot, they'll come after you with the full extent
Right,
of the law. And you may say, like, I'm sure there's some people who are like, why the hell would you want the actual to see the bodies and see this and that? Yeah. So um I am 100%, I agree with, there's no reason to show the bodies online, right? You have to,
right,
that would be a little bit too, that's not really fair to the families, right? They have to have some extent of privacy. However, there is a however to that. If you wanted to get the official crime scene photos, autopsy, you should be able to get that for your own educational needs. How do we learn, right?
right,
How do we
right.
learn? How do we learn? You know, t- you know, this is how you can stop, right? Possible serial killers or something else, something to that magnitude. If this was about like some kind of serial killer and whatnot, uh, you know, trying to educate ourselves and learning you know all the intricate facts and
Right.
about people being lured and different steps that were taken. And um I know to some people maybe like, oh my god, I can't believe you would want to see the bodies, but there is an
Yeah, it's
educational reason. There is an educational
right.
reason definitely to want to study the bodies to find out some of those critical pieces of info. But absolutely,
Right.
they do not belong online. I agree with that.
No. Now, the reports would be something different. I would like to read the actual reports.
Right.
Um, and I feel that if this case is as done a deal as it is said that it is, that there should be no reason to not release those reports. Um, but whether that is going to happen, we are going to fight for that. But whether that will actually happen, I do not know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I mean, in this case, I mean, as of now, there is stuff that MPD in Idaho is doing that's actually violating Hitler's own order.
Right.
So, Lana from her channel
Truth and
there,
transparency.
right? Truth and Transparency. She made a point about this. I mean, they have an index list of like all the that basically is like an index of filing names of how they save certain interviews and pieces of evidence. Okay, so the
Right.
argument, the basic argument. Okay, the case is over. That's it, right? He pled
Right.
guilty, no trial. So that
Nope.
you know,
No trial,
tainting
no appeal.
tainting the jury pool and all that crap. That's out the window. So forget about all that. So now all we have is, does the public their right to know, does that outweigh the right to privacy? Well, Hitler already issued his decree on this, and they're
Oh,
actually still redacting a name. Like for instance, they'll have a name of like, I'll just say, for example, like Jack Showalter. They'll have a name of a file that the file name is something Showalter, where I guess they have his actual, the recording of the interview is saved, and
yeah.
they'll have the name redacted. Well, Hitler said that all of that's supposed to be unredacted, and
Right.
how could we possibly make a FOIA request to get that if we don't know what the actual name is? Because you idiots still redacted it.
Right.
It's like they put it. It's like
Um,
we're stuck in like this endless like loop, like circle jerk, going back and forth.
right. Right. It's the truth. Okay.
All right, so evidence that raises more questions. Public expectations versus forensic reality. Evidence is often mistaken for explanation. In reality, evidence mostly does three things: confirms contact, confirms presence, confirms association. It struggles with order, intent, and internal experience. Some evidence frustrates the public because it answers a different question than the one people are asking, and it can possibly introduce complexity without narrative payoff. It feels incomplete by design. This leads to a disconnect. The public wants a story, and evidence provides fragments at times. Evidence doesn't tell the story, it limits which stories are possible. That distinction is critical for understanding why questions persist even with strong cases. How do you feel about that?
I like that. You know, people do. We're natural storytellers
Yeah.
as human beings. Since the beginning of time, we have told stories, and so when we don't have, the facts, we start creating those stories, and that's where critical thinking comes into play, where we have to apply critical thinking to, say, okay, we can't just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. We have to use the evidence to, come up with the correct story, the
Right.
correct story.
Right.
And the forensics um would certainly help us do that. um I know that they're not going to provide every answer, but you have to put each of these things together, so that you can see the totality to come up with the correct story, not just some poor schmuck, who was angry because he couldn't get laid, had a crush on some girl who didn't know he even existed, decided to go into a darkened house and kill four very healthy, athletic type people. This dude had visual snow disorder and coordination issues and whatever, just suddenly became super ninja and went in this place. Okay, well, what kind of story are they telling us? If you're talking about telling a story, they're the ones that's trying to cram this story down our throats. Okay, so yeah, I got a lot of questions, and
Right.
if you give me the facts, I'll be more than happy to, as long as we can trust what you're telling us. So that's my answer to that. What's your rebuttal? Let me have it.
Here we go. Devil's advocate's rebuttal. Evidence isn't supposed to satisfy curiosity. Evidence answers legal thresholds, not emotional ones. The public expects evidence to explain motive, but that's not its role. Not all evidence is narrative friendly.
True.
Um,
Very true.
some questions are outside forensic reach. Are we judging the evidence for what it is or for what we wish it could do?
And that's where that critical thinking comes in.
Yeah.
That's where that comes in. All right, let me go to our mini poll for the den.
So, how do you guys feel? What do you think, Dan? What should evidence primarily do? Meet legal tests, explain full story, or a balance of both?
Balance. We got balance so far. Where did that go? Oops, that's not. Both. You're fighting me.
Sorry, I didn't want to lose it.
Go ahead. Go.
I didn't
Go
want to
ahead.
lose
Go
it.
ahead. No, go ahead.
So we got here. I have a question for you. The house is destroyed. The bodies are cremated. What evidence do they have left to determine the real purpose? We all know Brian Koberger is innocent. There's still a ton of evidence. There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even the stuff that they can't really escape from the blood, the different blood spatters on the wall and different things. I mean, we know on the stairway, I believe there was 8 or 9 spots that showed up as having evidence, traces of blood, and they tested 4 of them. Why only 4? I don't know. Ask them. Ask MPD. I have no idea. But they tested only 4. And my understanding from 2 of them showed like a mixed DNA, which I believe was probably like I think it was like mixed female, probably from Maddie and Kaylee,
And Kaylee, I
and
believe.
then
Yeah.
one unknown, and then a high percentage of an unknown male. But obviously,
Yep.
Ethan eliminated, BK eliminated, so we know it's not BK, and we know it's not Ethan. So that's another thing. Like
Yep.
that right there, you have blood evidence. This is
Yeah.
blood. You have blood evidence in the house. 4 bodies stabbed, right? What we're
Yep.
told, with a knife.
Mhm.
Blood spatter, and there's unknown male DNA that does not link to Kohlberger. How is that not exculpatory evidence? I just I can't I
I
don't
can't
know if I'm
fathom.
not understanding something. I don't if
I
Kohlberger is if he's completely eliminated, now does that mean that that evidence right there, what I just said, does that mean that Kohlberger was not one of the perps, that he was not in the house? No, it does not. That does not mean that he wasn't there. That does not mean that he possibly was one of the perpetrators. However, uh, as far as I know, 1 plus 1 equals 2, not 3, right? So,
far as I'm, as long, hey,
so,
I'm not one of these new math believers. So that's
so,
what I was taught way back in the Stone Age,
yeah,
and
right.
you
So,
know,
uh, as Lee would say, you know, his famous line, you know, 6 ways to Sunday, right? Or
right,
whatever. I,
all
that's
day, every day, and
all
twice on
day, every
Sunday.
day, yeah, and twice on Sunday. And that is blatant exculpatory evidence. How that does not
Right?
pose reasonable doubt. Now again,
Beats the hell
the
out of
question,
me.
you know, now again, that's not saying that Kohlberger wasn't there, you know, which I understand. I know, and I see people saying Brian was not there. You know, I get all that, but I'm just saying, looking at the facts in itself, just from what we have,
Right,
just with that blood spatter alone, those 8 or 9 blood spots, and the 4 they tested,
right,
would that almost not be enough for you to tell you that there has to be a second person involved? There has to be a second
right,
male involved.
right.
If it's not BK and it's not Ethan, and we know it's a male, well, I mean, who is it? Cookie Monster? I mean,
Right. Yeah. So
so
I don't know. It unless the sheath is planted, we could go down that rabbit hole, but okay.
yeah.
Anyhow, all right. I will move right along to our next one.
Okay. So we're gonna discuss silence gaps and what isn't said. This has to do with legal necessity, perception, and trust erosion. Silence in high profile cases is strategic, but it's never neutral. There are reasons that information is withheld: jury pool protection, witness safety, trial integrity, avoiding contamination. But socially, silence produces suspicion, narrative drift, and emotional frustration. Humans interpret silence emotionally. Why won't they clarify this? What aren't we being told? Who benefits from silence? Silence protects legal outcomes, but it tests public trust. Both can't be maximized at the same time. How do you feel about that?
It depends on what the silence is used for.
Right.
If we're using it to protect an investigation. If we're using it to protect other people who could potentially be hurt by unknown perpetrators or known perpetrators for that matter, that's one thing. So, and I feel that that also can tie in with the evolution of a case.
Right. Definitely.
So, right. So while you can understand a certain amount of silence about certain things at first, by the time you're 3 years into a case where the guy that allegedly did it pleaded guilty and is sitting in jail, that's a really big problem. And it goes, if we're gonna, zoom out and we're looking at that bigger picture. And that's the thing. I know Leah said it, you said it, I've said it. So many creators in the community have said it. You not only are you looking at this individual case, but you're looking at that broader picture. You have to be able to look at both. And so silence can be a tool or it can be a weapon. And what I feel like
Right.
right now, where we're at, silence right now is being used in some ways as a weapon. And
Yes.
I'm not okay with that.
Right. I agree. I I liked your answer to that. I would agree with that. I would be okay with if it's hard because it's an unknown, right? We wouldn't if there was some kind of bigger operation or bigger thing going on
Right.
but there's a lot of lives that could be at risk to reveal certain things. Should they have the right to keep that stuff, private or secret? Does that outweigh, you know, uh, if you want to look at a scale, the public's right to know? I would say in something like that, if it's authentic and accurate, absolutely. But what I think, unfortunately, in this case, in many cases, is that this silence, unfortunately, where the government, if it's some kind of higher investigation, they do have the power to say, in the sake of national security, or we're never going to let you know who suspects, the other suspect in the case, or
Hmm.
we're gonna keep this silent, and
And you have to
and
remember,
that
we're the ones that gave him that power to do that.
right, right. Um, this comment, yeah. Also remember, BK asked in the beginning, did you arrest anyone
But
else?
see, I'm on the fence about that one. We were
Right.
told by a reporter that that was asked, but what do we know? Do we have? I mean,
I still don't know if
like,
we. Yeah, that I also
I
heard it.
don't
I
know
don't know
that
if
that
we
is
have a
actually
right.
the case.
I don't know if we have 100% receipt on that. Um, it what I can say to this extent, BK, I guess, Ann Taylor was adamant all along that BK, insisted his innocence, that he did not kill anyone. And if you overall think about everything as a whole, I think there is definitely a strong possibility that BK had some kind of involvement.
Hmm.
Uh, Involvement in what? I don't know. Was
Right.
he is he just a is he a driver for Kopaka? You know, is he was he some kind of was he working with the FBI or some group and helping, and this stuff still happened under their nose, under their watch. I know that again, we mentioned it the other night. I know it's hard for some people to to get into their mind or to fathom, like, how is it possible that the house is being watched? You got Homeland Security and the Marshals and the FBI and this unit and that unit and all these units. How could something still happen? Well, this stuff happens all the time. Again,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
was the Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito thing, didn't that not become a nationwide thing? Now I don't, not necessarily saying that Homeland Security and those kind of units were involved, but my understanding is that once Brian Laundrie got back, they were supposed to be watching the house 24
Yeah.
hours a day.
Yeah.
So you
So how
tell
did he
me
get out of there?
how the hell does this guy get out and go to the nature preserve? So
Exactly.
stuff
I
happens.
don't think
Stuff
he was ever
happens.
there.
Is it right? So is there a scenario? Is there a possibility that even though this house was being watched and they knew, whatever it was, drug deals or it could be a whole combination of things, drug deals,
Right.
escort service, whatever it was that was going on that they were watching. Is it possible that something still happened under their watch? And that's the reason for the whole big cover up because
Right.
they don't want
Right.
the embarrassment that
No.
how could they let it be known that all of these great 3-letter agencies have this operation and people still got killed? How embarrassing
Right.
would that be?
Right. Okay. Let's go on to our little mini poll for the den. What say you? Uh, does silence from investigators increase trust, decrease trust, or no impact on you?
So, how do you guys feel about that?
Looks like most people are saying
Be decrease?
either
No
decrease or
impact?
no impact.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because I know people want answers and it's just, the way your mind when you start putting things together and you're like, this doesn't make sense. Why won't they just, why won't they just connect the dot? Why don't they just explain, And
Right.
it gets
Right.
aggravating.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And looks like I think this is our last slide here.
Yes. So we got justice versus closure. Legal resolution versus human resolution. Justice is procedural, closure is psychological. Justice asks, did the evidence meet the legal standard? Closure asks, does this make sense now? Can I stop replaying it? Can I integrate this loss? A verdict can end proceedings and deliver accountability, but it cannot explain motive fully, restore meaning, and eliminate what ifs. For the public, this creates relief without satisfaction, resolution without peace. Justice closes a case. Closure is something people negotiate long after the case ends. What say you?
Say hi. Um, Justice should always be the goal. Okay. Now, how do you achieve that justice? You achieve it by okay, if we're going to talk about in the legal sense, that means getting the right person, getting the actual guilty party or parties. Now, what we have in this case, I don't believe, and I'm sure many of us, most of us here on this channel and, tonight believe that we are not getting that in this case. Clarity, I like that. Clarity and justice are not necessarily the same thing. I believe that can be true. We all would like to see a logical conclusion to this case. But we can't have that without the truth. And that is what is needed to bring about justice. So you can't have justice and you cannot have closure or clarity without the truth.
Right.
So, and for the families of the victims, they have not gotten justice. Those 4 individuals have not gotten justice. And I know for myself, I am blessed to have not had anyone pass away from my life in such a horrific circumstance. But I can tell you that through losing other people in my life, closure, it doesn't really happen. Closure is a little
Right.
bit of a myth. You can feel a certain amount of peace. So no, they're definitely, I don't believe the same thing. But in order to bring them about in any measure, you have to have the truth first. And we don't have that. We don't have that in this case and many others at all, which is why we do what we do on this channel and why so many other creators are doing the same thing. So that's my answer to that, sir.
So here's our devil's advocate's rebuttal. Closure isn't owned. I'm sorry. Closure isn't owed to the public. The justice system isn't designed for emotional resolution. Some answers may never exist. Expecting closure can create perpetual dissatisfaction. Accountability matters more than comfort. Is closure a realistic goal or a promise we invented for ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, the problem is we're not getting the truth that will bring about a certain measure of relief. Someone in the chat just I should have highlighted, I didn't because I was thinking too deeply, I guess, about what you were saying there, but said that it feels like we're holding our breath, and doesn't it? I love that comment. I'm so sorry I lost whoever said it. It's so true. We all feel like we're just holding our breath, and at least if
There we go.
we know we're never going to get the 100% truth about what happened, but at least if we could have a certain amount, because it goes to the bigger picture again. It goes to that bigger picture. If they're doing it in this case, they've done it in the past, they've been doing it, blah, blah, blah. We're holding our breath as a collective society anymore, as a collective world regarding a lot of things. And in just this case alone, if we were able to have some knowledge about what truly went on and the knowledge and to be able to be secure that the right person is being punished, then that would certainly be a relief. Now, I realize if you're going to talk about emotion, that's one thing.
Right.
But many of us don't want it for an emotional reason. We want to know that the powers that be are doing right by us. And that's what a lot of this boils down to. And right now, it is my opinion, okay, my personal opinion, that's not what's happening here. So, but okay, so let's see what the Den has to say about all this. Our last mini poll.
Yep. So how do you
What
guys
matters
feel?
more in Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Read. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what matters most in this case? Justice, closure, or both equally? Yes, DA has a day off. I just saw somebody go, where's DA? Who are these people? Sunday is DA's day off. He gives over the reins to us and says, don't screw up. So what say you, Den? Yeah, oh, I like that. The living Vic. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Kind of a
Trying to man this comment.
bag here. Yeah, what is this? Well, we got look. I'm gonna do a little housekeeping. We've got 180 likes. We've got 200 people. Hey, we did pretty good, but keep it up, Jen. Keep it up. Get those. Can we hit it? Can we hit 200? Can we?
Yeah.
Yeah, truth. Because you can't have closure without truth.
Right.
I mean, you can have closure, but if it's for the wrong, if it's not accurate, I don't know.
So my final statements with this topic. This case didn't just show us how violence happens in the dark. It showed us how much uncertainty lives there, even after the lights come back on. Sometimes the hardest truth isn't what happened, it's accepting that not every question gets an answer.
Yep. I would agree with that. So, well, you guys have been fantastic.
Anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
You want to, if anyone wants to hop up on stage, I mean,
Yeah, we got a little
maybe.
time. We could have somebody hop up if they want. Let me throw the link out there again.
Let's see. Justice, but I don't think you can have true justice. Right.
Right. Okay, I put the link out there. If anybody wants to come up, you are more than welcome. And we don't have to turn your camera on or anything like that. So, we don't bite.
Yeah.
I promise.
Anyone has any questions?
Yep.
We do
any
cover
questions in the chat? Anything for one or myself, or
and we cover
something you would like us to
multiple
look
cases.
into? I mean,
We got multiple cases, right? We cover Lisk,
Right.
the Long Island serial killer, Mickey Stein's case, Charlie Kirk, and Luigi Mangione, and obviously Idaho 4.
Right.
So.
And
we
for
got
those
someone.
who may not be aware, I'm going to grab the Luigi video that Lee put out earlier today. He did a amazing video today.
We got Crime and Chaos is backstage. So.
Oh, sweet. All right. Let's
I don't
bring
think,
them right on up.
Yeah,
Are you
I don't think
ready
she has,
then?
no video. I don't think she has video on. But
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Welcome, welcome. How are you
Welcome.
tonight?
Hey, I'm good. You guys, this is an excellent stream. Thank you so much for doing this. It's been great.
Well, well, you're very
Yeah,
welcome. Glad that
been
Yeah.
you
awesome.
know,
Yeah,
Welcome to the den.
one put a lot of work into it.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. I love it. It's been really, really awesome. I wanted to well this last slide you had with their at the end of the plea deal sentencing when they did their briefing, and that was it was bad enough that Thompson, he not only did all that, uh whatever they called it, his speech with all his non-evidence, of what they had
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
on Koberger. It was literally just a rundown of everything they didn't have. And then afterward, that picture, that you put up, which everything was amazing. Did you put that together, one?
Yeah. Well,
He,
it's a
it,
collaborative.
it was
it
tag
was
Yeah.
team.
It was
well,
tag
both of
team.
you, first of all, did
He
it,
did all the like material and stuff, and then
mhm.
I did the put it to the graphics and stuff like that. So
No, it was
we
amazing.
love doing stuff like that together. It's a lot of fun.
It was really cool and really amazing. So I just want to say
Thank
that
you.
too. But
Thank
that
you.
that
Thank
last
Appreciate that.
you.
picture, as soon as I saw it, it just oh, like just seeing those two up there, because I watched it, as it happened,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and oh my gosh, it just burned my behind so bad, seeing them up there, all of them, and they were gloating. They were
Yeah,
literally gloating
Yeah.
on the fact when they would say it. Oh nope, we didn't have it. As much as we wanted to find a knife, nope, never found it. As much as we wanted to put him at 1122, nope, we couldn't
yeah.
do it. You know,
Would
they just
would have loved
gloated
to have
about
that
it.
happen.
Yeah, yeah. So with
What
that
is that?
being said, not only did we have to sit through that and endure it, but then just to literally push the knife in a little further when asked about why did you not make him say where the knife was, or or something, give
Right.
some kind of proof of the fact you did it. For Thompson to stand up there, I'm sorry, my mouth is dry. I get so mad talking about this.
Yeah.
Mm, I need to take a
No,
drink. I
that's
really,
okay.
I
Oh, I
really,
know.
I get so
Uh,
angry. But then
uh,
on top of that, he he threw in just, you know, to say, well, no, he was just going to lie to everybody, and we were
yeah,
never going to get the truth out of him. So why bother? Those weren't his exact words, but that is what he
it was his
said.
sentiment. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and it.
I give Lee huge props because he was there in that room.
Right.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
When all that is going on. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been able to keep I don't know how he kept from going, what? Like
Mhm.
I give him huge props because I that would have gone very badly if I had been there. But he, you know, how surreal that must have been for him to be there, hearing that I mean, it was bad enough for all of us out here,
Mhm.
but for him being in you know there, just wow, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was sitting back there drinking out of his bottle of water, and he would just kind of, it was almost like he was just there to make sure the right things were being said. And he
yeah,
would step in every now and again, Thompson, and say something, or, it was mostly Payne that was doing a lot of the talking, but Thompson would talk too. And just when he stepped in to say that, I just, oh my gosh, it's like, just tell us, just come out and tell us, suckers.
Right.
You know, I mean, he might
Right.
as well just said that to everybody. And then
Right.
after
Right.
that, I didn't see it until a little bit later, but Steve Jr., Gonsalves Jr., his statement what sorry, I'm fuming right now, so the brain is just on that
That's
mode. But
okay.
his statement, literally, he didn't feel it was fitting and appropriate for the victim's impact statement. He didn't feel it was suitable for uh being able to be read in the courtroom, so he did his outside. Did you guys see that?
Who you
His
who are you talking about?
Steve Gonsalves Jr.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I
was,
Oh,
did see
yeah.
yeah,
that. I saw that. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I did see
and
it.
it was literally all about Thompson's misdoings over the years, and the mistreatment of the victims' families,
Hmm.
how, and all of his really unlawful things that he's done over the years.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
it was so sad to see that, because I watched it right afterward, and
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
look what he was gonna do. I mean,
Hmm.
we can only make an inference because it didn't happen, but
yeah.
Right.
99% we 99% we are pretty much we know he was gonna have Molly testify and say that she saw BK at the house.
Mm-hmm.
We know
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
And they
He did.
only that was their last thing because they knew,
The last
okay,
straw.
they got this touch DNA on the knife sheath, but it's like, we have all this DNA tested. I mean, they can try to escape from it, but like what I said before, how do you have, you know, definitively, like, I know they get down to like the specific like ratio. Definitively, they know they have unknown male DNA that does not match Ethan, does not match BK. Now that doesn't give you the answer that BK wasn't there or he wasn't part of it, but that does tell
Right.
Hmm.
you that someone else was part of it. So
Mhm.
Right.
Hitler could go fly a kite like, oh well, you can't bring in, alternate perps. Well, screw you, Hitler. Like what? Maybe it's you, Hitler. I mean,
Right. Well,
Um,
yeah, he was literally that day. He was what are they, judge, jury, and prosecutor that day,
oh
literally,
yeah,
by
yeah,
yeah,
saying,
really.
well, no, because they didn't drive a white car. That's literally what he said. Like, he was like, no, because these people walked. The people that, I guess, the defense was wanting to bring in as alternate perpetrators, and he's like, well, no, they didn't drive. So that was what he said. Well, okay, so
How asinine.
yeah, I mean, so you being the judge who is supposed to be impartial, you're actually being the judge, jury, and prosecutor right now, and you might as well just be the firing squad too, because you've already made up
Right.
your mind of who is guilty. And they drove a white Hyundai Elantra. And it- I'm sorry, but that's not how it's supposed to work, right? I mean, I don't think so, right?
No, no.
Oh,
I mean, if you're going to do that, then just have a judge trial. I mean, why are you doing all, I mean, no, that just was infuriating when he did that.
yeah,
And
I'm
then
sure
he's
there had
calling
to be
Syre a freaking, you know,
conspiracy
conspiracy theorist.
theorists. Yeah, yeah, that was another. There was something Lana, Truth and Transparency, she played a couple days ago, where Ann Taylor was trying to get a point across about, it was DNA, and Hitler didn't understand anything about the DNA, but she mentioned, Ann Taylor said, well, Judge, I was expecting to argue that issue, but it was going to be with the prosecution, I thought. Like, she was literally telling him, hey, You know, I don't know why I'm arguing this with you. You're not the
Right.
prosecution. You
Right.
know. Yeah, I mean,
But
he
he
was
was
just
always holding their hand.
he was. Oh, he was every
I
time.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
he was
So,
terrible. But yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. That last slide, just when I see that day, and right now, anybody at all who comes, I'm in a couple face group murder, Idaho unaliving groups. I'm sorry, excuse me, and
oh, that's okay.
I,
We say yeah, you
okay,
don't have to,
okay,
we don't censor very much here at all. So
yeah,
that's
I
totally fine.
okay, I just wouldn't ever want to get Lee in trouble, but or any of you,
Yeah,
but
no, no, no. Mm-mm,
I
no.
intentionally go to the most um guilter number of people to post things. So hopefully we can, get the word out that hey, things are really starting to change. Like the scales are weighing more towards um the fact that Coburger did not in any way get a fair go at this. And
No.
yeah, people are starting to realize, that
I
Hitler
mean,
was not impartial. And
no.
yeah, and just
If
I hope
if
it happens
anyone,
next year.
yeah. I mean, if any one of us had a family member, okay, that we love very much in Brian's shoes, and this kind of stuff had gone on in their case, I mean, if it was a family member or a friend or whatever, and they did it, yeah, I want them held accountable. But you got to do it the right way. You can't be doing the kind of things that they did. I mean, just in the courtroom alone, anything else beside, but just if you want to just look at the court proceedings, how they went
Oh
were
yeah, yeah, definitely.
grossly wrong.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, I can't. The Ray thing pisses me off to no end.
oh my God.
Oh
We've talked
yeah.
about it a few times. So you were
Yes,
mentioning, you mentioned the Elantra is one thing. They went with that narrative. There's a million white Elantras and white cars, and we pretty much see pretty much always
Yeah.
like to use that.
Yeah, we all
Right.
say that now.
um, that we have basically the evidence that shows all these different times and locations that suspect vehicle one that they said was at Floyd's cannabis shop and was here and was there. It's not even BK's car. It's not even
No,
right.
it isn't.
Not even there. It's not even right.
No.
But there's that. Now the Ray thing. I hope one day we get to actually hear what he has to say. Um, I would think that Hitler wouldn't give a rat's ass what he has to say, right? He called him a conspiracy theorist. So if he's
right,
such a conspiracy theorist and he's a whack job, why do you need to keep it silent? Why do you need to keep it redacted? So let's go, Hitler. Let's hear. Let it let it flow. Let the ocean flow. Let's hear what he has to say. Um,
right.
but that whole thing makes me nuts.
Yeah,
Again, it's not for the judge to a certain standard. You got the defense, you got the prosecution. They provide, they show the credentials. Look, this is our expert in this field. This is our expert on cell phone data. Ray is not an expert. He is the expert. He's trained
yep,
Exactly.
multiple law like jurisdictions and police departments. He is the expert that has written the fundamentals of doing cell phone extraction and you know uh the timing advance records and stuff with that. Who is Hitler to how is Hitler to have any jurisdiction at all to
Mm-hmm.
say, nah, he's a conspiracy theorist. Get the hell out of it. Get the hell out of my court. No, that's
Yeah.
not for you to say. What Hitler should have said, of course, the defend, they do, the state, they're doing their job. They're gonna fight and say, he's not an expert, blah blah. Blah. Okay, well, look, here's his credentials. Bam, and then all what Hitler should have said. Well, this is what you have to do, state. Provide your own expert that if that can show their contradiction to what Cyre says, if it's
Mm-hmm.
authentic, and in a meaningful way, or if you don't have that and you can't do that, um isn't that what's supposed to happen, where you know interview and you counter, you ask questions of the other side, isn't that what a
Right.
counter argument is? Isn't that so that's what Hitler's job is to maintain the court order. It's not for him to argue the legal, the credentials. The credentials are proven. Here's his credentials.
Mm.
Right.
uh
That's why you have the CV.
Cy should have said, uh, with all, with all that said, state, well, you got to argue this in court. That's their expert. You can interview him and you can do, that go that way, or have your own expert. But the Hitler can't just say, nah, he's no good.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
I
right.
always kind of
So,
wondered like how much of this case, because there was so many terabytes of evidence and there were so many documents and so much that he had to look over from January until present, right? So how much did Hitler really know, and why was he so pro prosecution? Because it was obvious. I mean, there was literally no question that he was pro prosecution.
absolutely.
Um, and with that being said, I can see a judge not wanting to um, relay to the public in an open hearing that there could be some kind of uh, prosecutorial misconduct. I can see that. But if there is, and if he has seen those documents that we've now seen that are released, and there's no question that Detective Payne perjured himself. We now
Oh
see
yeah.
that he did. So with Hitler also, he had to know this, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Ann Taylor basically showed that when she was trying to push the Franks hearings. I mean, she asked, I think, 5, 6, 7 times in a row, to Payne on the stand. Are you sure? Are you sure? Payne, are you sure that it's December 19th? Is that the first time that you heard Kohlberger's name? Are you sure it wasn't before that? She asked like multiple times, and he kept
Right.
saying, "Yeah, December,
Yeah.
December
December
19th,
'19th.
when
December 19th.
we have the evidence that, at least by at least the documents or evidence we have, at the very least, it was December 5th, not December 19th, and
Right.
maybe it was even before that."
Right.
Right, right. So with Hitler having this knowledge, and we still don't know everything because so much is still sealed, and to this last week, it Thompson is still fighting to keep a lot sealed, and luckily we're getting ready to find out new things this upcoming week because thankfully Hitler said no go, we're going to release it, thankfully.
Yeah.
But how much more is Hitler aware of that we don't even know yet? And with
Oh
that being
my God.
said, you know, what does he still know that he would not? realize, I guess what I'm trying to say is that he knows there was police misconduct and prosecutorial misconduct. So why would he fight
Right.
that? You know what I mean? Why
Well,
not do the Frank
and
hearing?
Well, that's
And
yeah,
right. That's the big
yeah,
question. Like, is there something bigger
big
going on here? Is there something above
that
here that even though that clear, you know, any judge that even got his degree or judgeship out of a Cracker Jack box could figure out um, the stuff that you said, you know, right now. And I don't know. It's if there's a bigger investigation or something like that to go, you know, to that extent, Hitler could have been, you know, told like, all right, you
right.
know, I know you have X, Y, and Z here. You gotta don't push this issue. You know, we know what this is looks like and whatever, but
Hmm.
you know, we need you to rule in such way.
Okay.
Um,
right.
and if it's something like in the sake of national security or to that extent, like there's stuff all over the place. You know,
Okay.
they're gonna lie about. They're gonna know. I know some people think that this stuff with with the witness protection and all that. These how could you say that? These people are whack job. Like you're a whack job to think that or whatever. Not not really. It's not. It's
No,
not.
Hmm.
Oh, it's not over the
no,
realm. It's not out of the realm. I mean,
Right.
people have legitimate questions. I mean, I'm in law enforcement, and like Estes crime maze that we have on the show, he brings up some good
Mhm.
points. Where are the
Yeah.
leak?
right.
Where are the leaked crime scene photos? I mean,
Hmm.
they shouldn't get leaked, right? But
No,
usually that happens. There's something that
they
gets leaked,
don't do.
where, right?
Yeah,
Where are the crimes? Where are the crime scene photos? Where is a lot? Where is a lot of stuff?
right.
So is it? You know, it could be a multitude of things, but I definitely more and more that comes out. I also I'm in the camp. I think that there definitely could be some kind of bigger operation that went on here,
Hmm.
and yet some people still were killed and died under all these agencies' noses, and they didn't act fast enough, or they had bad intelligence, or whatever it was, and they weren't able to stop something
Right.
in time, and they would not want that. They would not want that
Oh,
getting
hell
out.
no.
To get
No,
out in the general
no,
public.
Right.
They,
no,
yeah,
no.
especially with the college town and the risk of their reputation.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you
Well,
answering
right.
that question. I know you have a law enforcement background, and I I I appreciate your honesty because I
Yeah.
really feel that it has to be something that Hitler, because honestly, I watch, I don't even know who was the streamer, but uh, I think it might have been oh gosh, I love him. He's Unfiltered Lucky. That's who he is.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
and
yeah, he's
yeah,
cool.
he
Lucky's
is.
cool.
I love it. He'd be like, "Hey, it's me, Lucky." He's awesome. But yeah, he looked at all the history of the judges when they announced the change of venue. So, and Hitler was legit like just like at the top of the list of being one of the best judges in Ada
Right.
County before the change of venue. So, anyways, that makes total sense because
Yeah,
anything else, when you look at the big picture, doesn't make sense. So, thank you for
right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got
Yeah,
to be something way bigger than
yeah.
common sense. That yeah. But hey, I appreciate you guys. I just want to get up here and bring that up, and
Well, I'm
um,
glad you did.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
just do
glad
a
Thank
you
you.
did.
little
Yeah, you
venting.
got to come back.
And oh, I will. I'm so looking forward to this upcoming week. I'm off work,
A
and I get
lot
to
of,
just dig into these documents that are coming out. I think it's about DNA, cast data, and roommates, texts. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What?
Now, are they going to
Yeah.
release all that starting tomorrow?
I hope so. I hope so. I know that
I,
yeah, that is what
Yeah. Well,
Kathy's Indie Zone, I keep up with her and she's really on top of all that. So I believe so.
well,
And
yeah,
if
she's really
so,
good.
yeah, fingers crossed we are gonna have
Yeah.
some digging in to do and I look forward to doing it with you guys. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So thanks for
yep.
having me up here and once
Of course.
again, awesome job on tonight. It
Well,
was so
thank you.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good
Thank
night,
you.
guys. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Have
You
a good
too.
night, guy. Yep.
Bye.
Take care now.
You too.
And so I guess that will bring us to a close for the evening, but because Lou normally likes us to keep it around 2 hours, and we're we're go tell the boss, but but so thank you guys for coming out tonight. We could not do what we do without each and every one of you, whether you watch live, whether you're on the replay crew. Thanks for all the likes, sending the little hearts and all that. Just you guys are tremendous. You're the best. I think we have we're we're not stopping. We're not stopping. So as far as I know, we will be back same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow night. If you're on the West Coast, 6 p.m. uh Pacific, sorry, the dog was being a little crazy there. Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock for the Eastern Coast folk, and everywhere in between. I can't do the math, so you'll have to. So but I do have our one of our fabulous songs from Cat Farm about Murphy the teleporting dog. I thought maybe you guys would enjoy it if we would play us out by
Yeah,
playing that. We haven't heard that for a little bit again. So is that okay with
sounds
you,
great.
1-1?
Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
great.
And parting words for future.
Thanks everyone for being with us and being part of the den, and we'll keep fighting the good fight.
All right. I had this okay. What the heck was that?
How come it's not?
Barking all night, but nobody hears. So far in the distance, then gradually nears. A fleeting encounter, then disappears. How did he leave? Did he fly with his ears? Murphy! He's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy! He's a cute and curly golden demigod. Not a mark on him, not a hair left behind. He's better behaved than all humankind. He'll clean up his paw prints for some bacon rind. Before you know it, he's gone. He's so streamlined. Murphy! He's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy! He's a cute and curly golden demigod. Traveling the universe through space and time. How do you do it? You're key to this crime. Are you here? Are you there? Are you anywhere or everywhere? Murphy! He's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy! He's a cute and curly golden demigod. You're such a good